lot to do tonight. I'm doing a New Year's party tonight, so I'm planning on streaming tomorrow. If I'm not live, I'm sleeping. But I'm probably gonna play this on Friday. It could change. I've been itching to play the Teamer like Woodlands control deck. That deck's been pretty cool. All right, so to test the extra Boseiju on the side, plays a Talisman. Am I just getting a Cub? Yeah, we go Cub, and then so we have not infinite next turn. We need a Lotus Cobra, right? Yeah, we need a Lotus Cobra, but we Cub onto the desert here. And then I guess I could play around Thought-Knot Seer by bestowing this turn. Seems like technically correct. This is 6, 8. So we can make a lot of Sunscorched Deserts next turn. But if we draw a Green Sun, Summer's Pact, Lotus Cobra, or Nissa, we have infinite Sunscorched Deserts here. IRL, I like to pick arbitrarily medium numbers when I have infinite combos. I'll make 62 Forest, please. That's pretty baller. All right, so this was on our list of game-winning top decks. So I think we're going to get the Nissa. I guess we don't need to tap this forest yet, although it shouldn't really matter very much. All right, so we have a few triggers here. So make a green. Then we will pay for this, and then we will infinitely ping them with Sunscorched Desert. Now, the one of desert can be dug for, if you're wondering like why we're just playing one. It can be dug for with the Icetill Explorer is a big part of the reason why the Icetill is in the deck. Although we haven't done a lot of the Icetill loops in a little while, I'm not 100% sure it's correct to play it. It's so fun to like figure so much of this stuff out, like through the streams too. Like this deck has really evolved in a beautiful way, I think. Summer's Pact has been so phenomenal all day today. I think I love being able to have a big breakthrough on a deck like this, and have it like be like I think is so clearly good today. Pretty punished for playing the mortuary because now there's just this trigger on the stack. When a land enters the battlefield, Nissa, Resurgent Elementalist, can make a mana of any color. While Springheart Nantuko is bestowed upon Sunscorched Desert, when a land enters, you may pay 2 mana to make a copy of that permanent. The permanent that we're bestowed onto is an Earthbent Sunscorched Desert. When it comes into play, it doesn't come into play as a creature copy of Sunscorched Desert. Instead, it comes into play as a land that can tap for mana. With the 1 mana that the Sunscorched Desert taps for naturally, plus the 1 mana from Nissa, each time we execute this loop, we're dealing our opponent 1 damage with Sunscorched Desert. This will eventually result in infinite mana and a lot of finger pain. Are they just hoping for misclick? I think they're trying to do clock damage. They genuinely might not realize they're being pinged by Sunscorched Desert too. Alright, I think we got him. Yeah, eventually we'll be able to do the macro loops. Okay, so I'm very heavy on the Boseiju. One nice thing about the sideboard Boseiju plan too is you get to be you get to board out some lands, you get to keep most of your spells. Although I think I'm going to, I don't know, Nissa is also very good, I think. Can I cut? Maybe I could cut the. Maybe we cut the Icetill and cut the desert, and that's kind of interesting. So we're like +1 land overall. Interesting. Let's try that. You two, Metelmo. I think with the Boseiju we can keep this on the draw against Tron. You can make a system given a state. Yeah, so as far as like the Magic Online being able to execute infinite combos, a lot of people have said, oh, it would be really easy to code it to where it could do that, and a lot of people say it is literally impossible. I don't know what's true. I don't know anything. But I think that maybe the reason why they don't add the macro is because like Magic Online kind of can't handle you having 60 permanents in play or like 80 permanents. It's too much. Maybe that's the bigger deal. Excuse me. So next turn I might Summoner's Pact for Cub. No, I guess I won't be able to go Cub into Tyvar, will I? Okay, so we can go Cobra. Yeah, I guess we just Surveil and then Boseiju. All right, my opponent played Tower second. I usually kill the one that they play first, and it's kind of doesn't really matter that much. But my general thinking is most Tron players in theory play the one that they have 2 copies of second, and the two copies of first, right? Or that's what most people say. Most people say you play the copy of 2 copies of first. I think that the really good Tron players know that. And so they will play the one that they have 2 copies of second instead of first to try to incentivize the Boseiju. So I try to play on that level. And then there's also a chance that this player has heard me say that and then they're leveling me again, but I think that's not very likely. Failed to find a land type. All right, these Boseijus are pretty good, huh? What did they tutor? They tutored an Urza's Mine again, so that was always kind of likely. They play the Mine again. We top deck a Badgermole Cub. So we can combo off next turn. But it's currently not next turn, so we attack for 3. Okay, Force was in their hand. Ah, yeah, I just have to deduce what kind of Tron player you are. Alright, so Tyvar first. Minus the Tyvar. We're going to put the extra Cobra into play. I guess this is... We have infinite mana, but we don't have a Leyline in play. Wait, can we just Craterhoof? This is 2... No. Wait. No, we can just Craterhoof. This is 2 + 6. No, this is 2 + 5. Okay, 2 + 5 is not 8, so... It would be nice for like Lotus Cobra if you could just always like keep the same mana that you're making each time. Isn't the idea that you're supposed to destroy the non-tower land first, so if they have to tap it to find Tron, they have less mana after that? That is an idea too. That's you can also do that, although it doesn't come up that often anymore now that Sylvan Scrying is not really played for whatever that's worth. It obviously can still happen with the maps. All right, we won this round. What's up? It's me, your friend, Aspiring. Did I go to 5? Probably. This hand has a lot to like. The problem is the Dryad. I think I keep this on 5 in the blind. It's a little bit weird. I think I would mulligan on 7, and I think it's probably just a reluctant keep on the play on 6 that can kill really fast if my opponent can't remove the Arbor. And if they can remove the Arbor, we'll probably lose, but I think a lot of multi 5s are losses as well. Tron again, huh? Uh-oh. Dang. Land? Lucky me. That's why I always carry 2 Dryad Arbors as the flavor text on Thragtusk. So this is... Yeah, I think we can play we can cast Ashaya next turn, but I don't think we can go off with the Quirion Ranger, right? I think turn 1 K-Command my Arbor, turn 2 Karn. I feel like we have some outs to win the game here. They get a Ballista. So I can go Quirion Ranger... Quirion Ranger, floating 1 mana off the Dryad Arbor. Untap the Dryad Arbor, that's 3. 4 off the Overgrown Tomb, 5 off the replayed Overgrown Tomb. Then I have Ashaya in play. That's great. The problemo, I cannot activate the Quirion Ranger to start my loop-de-doop because I've already activated the Quirion Ranger once. What can we do about this to get a burst of mana here? What happens if I Summoner's Pact for... I guess I could go Summoner's Pact for Badgermole Cub. No, that's not really going to do it. I could Summoner's Pact for another Quirion Ranger, but then I'll have to have activated that first as well. So then if I do this, I guess it's fine still, because then we just Summoner's Pact for the other Quirion Ranger next turn. So assuming that they just go Ballista X equals 2. They go Ballista X equals 2 to... oh, I could also bounce the Quirion Ranger to itself. But it seems like... Oh, but then the Dryad Arbor won't be in play, but the Ashaya will be in play as a forest to make mana. Very weird spot. I guess they could Needle. I guess they can Needle Quirion Ranger. They have Dismember! Great! And they don't even activate the card. Well, tough draw. Turn 1 K-Command, turn 2 card, turn 3 kill 3 things. Imagine Earthbender Ascension. Yeah, I thought a little bit about Earthbender Ascension. Alright, I'm gonna go to game 2. I think I like the sideboard plan, though. Cut the Icetill, and then cut the Woodland in the Desert for the 3 Boseijus. Not a bad mulligan. We were lucky to draw our forest there. Just wasted too much brain power on something that didn't matter, I guess. Yeah, I got the Boseiju, too. Let's go and keep this. I'm going to green sun for an Arbor on 1. It's a little bit weird, because I would like to be able to get a Quirion Ranger off one of these, but... I guess we would kind of need to get a Badgermole Cub anyways. To have the mana to... Well, I guess that's not true because the Nantuko is at least an infinite power payoff to no Badgermole, no Lotus Cobra, no Leyline plus Ashaya Quirion Ranger. I know I'm saying a lot of card names real fast. I'm also scared here. Do they have turn 1 K-Command again? They do have turn 1 K-Command again. It would suck if Keikoman wasn't the best card on any situation all the time, so I'm glad that it always is. I would just hate for Keikoman to not be the best card on every single turn of every single game. Because why would you put it in your deck otherwise? The upkeep stuff. I draw Craterhoof. Well, probably gonna be 1-1 against Tron to start this league here. Never give up. Never give up, says my sweet Japanese fisherman. How do they have 5 cards in hand too? Well, Keikoman's, it's very important that it also draws a card. Wouldn't be very good otherwise. Keep stop. Can I concede? No. Never give up. Nantuko's also, kind of powerful. If I draw a fetch land next turn, could do some cool stuff. Happy New Year, Acidic. Yeah, I guess you're the first person to say in the chat that it's already the new year where you are. Honestly, of all the spells they could have had, Second Seer is probably the finest. Imagine top decking Gaia's Cradle in our cube deck here. Draw a Cub. Cub is kind of fun. Cub is kind of fun because if I block with my Earthbent land, I get to trigger landfall twice. Very excited for 2026. Going to get back into tournament grinding. Hopefully we'll finish the first draft of my novel. Hopefully we'll finish 1.0 of our game development. Big year. Is this Ulamog? Immercool. All right. I yield to you, Tron player. I yield. No fun, no win. For fun, no win. For fun, no win. Keep. Listened to a lot of Frank Ocean today. I'm planning a trip to Japan later this year. Any Rex for a Magic player? Well, I went as a married man instead of as a Magic player, so I didn't really do anything Magic related. If I was going again, I would have spent. I spent 7 days in Tokyo. I probably would have only spent 5, and I would have spent more time in some of the more naturey areas. Like I would have loved another day in the Kamakura area. I would have loved another day in Kyoto. Although we spent 7 days there. I would have loved another one or 2. I would have loved another day in the Mount Fuji area. Would have loved another day in Osaka. Like the national park we went to there was so cool. But everybody's got different interest over there. So we've been grand. Very curious to see what they're playing. It could be the Buried Alive Cauldron version we were playing. Could be obviously a lot of different stuff. I don't remember if I was playing Meyer. I just wanted them to also be Fate Stitching. I really do think the Fate Stitching grand stuff's pretty good. Pona, you gotta attack with your grandma. She's sturdy. She can get in there. Top 5 years, yeah. Okay, well, we'll do the impromptu Aspiring Spikes 2025 Top 25 Brews of the Year. Make sure to, you won't believe what number 25 is. You gotta watch to the end. And that's why these were my 25 Brews of the New Year. They loot away an island. I don't know. It was an interesting year for brews. I feel like Modern kind of became a format that was, I think post Image 3 brewing in Modern has been difficult, or more difficult than it was. Okay, this is weird. In the Image 2 era, I feel like the Image 2 area was more open. It felt like you could get away with more stuff, and I think in the Image MH3 era that we're currently living in, you can't get away with as much stuff, and so you really need to be like I feel like I've had to work harder for the brews, which has been kind of rewarding and not a bad thing, but a different thing. Um, I feel like we had so much like crazy stuff and like found out so much cool stuff, but it also feels like um, it's I don't know. It's kind of hard to think about and talk about. All right, they kill my cub. I've got 4 mana still. Because guide pride is an efficiency bottleneck. Yeah, I think that that's a big part of it. Is that like I do think that like just the MH3 cards, the ones that are still legal, that there's a lot of like restrictions on like what they allow you to do in the format. Okay, let me see if I can comp you have to do really weird stuff like this. um, so I think I can go. Yeah, I think I can. I can make infinite Dryad Arbors here, right? So because I get to go. Fair enough. This is value grandma. Yeah, it's like the efficiency of the MH3 cards and how like immovable a lot of those brews are. Like Boros is like pretty solved, and the formula of Boros is like, how many Thraben charms am I playing today? Do I play High Noon in the sideboard? Do I play a Blood Moon in the main deck? It's like it's pretty boring, and then it's like the Eldrazi and the Boros decks, the Eldrazi variants, they don't change very much either. Um, and so like the kind of like how like solid these decks are and how little they're able to change, it really I think it really like to some extent hinders the deck building, but and you have to get like really weird and creative with it, which that aspect I do like. I think I discard a Quirion Ranger. Can I kill them with Craterhoof here? So this is 4 mana, 7. So I can attack with three non-summoning stick creatures that will have +5/+5 and trample. So this will be 7 power, 6 power, and this will be 10 power. So 7 + 6 is 13, + 10 is 23. So 20, that's exactly lethal, I think. Oh, we could also get, can we get, is getting Dryad Arbor. Well, I guess I would have to activate the Quirion Ranger and return to Forest anyways. But I could get Dryad Arbor for 1 more power. The problem is I have to activate this anyways, so it wouldn't actually make a difference. It just will be -1 mana. Not too bad. Turn 4 through all this. Oh, I could have miscounted though. So I guess let's not celebrate yet. No, Craterhoof is somehow always lethal. It's pretty funny. Alright, so I bring in the endurances. I'm gonna cut the Icetill against the Dothy Voidwalker. Maybe a Tyvar also against the Dothy Voidwalkers, although still important for a lot of combos. I think it's okay to cut one. Then maybe a Quirion Ranger. Maybe a Summoner's Pact against all their cheap interaction. A lot of times you want to cut one again in these kind of matchups. I've already played Obsessive Pursuit, Mono Black K Command. Yes, I have. We didn't play very much of it, but didn't go super well. We barely drew Obsessive Pursuit, so I'm kind of open to playing it again. However, I'm also kind of interested in combining that deck and the in the May mono black aggro deck, and like potentially sideboarding the airships, potentially just not playing airship because I don't think it's super good in this metagame. And I'm interested in playing Dark Confidant alongside Nay and all this stuff, and like Dark Confidant with Obsessive Pursuit's a little bit interesting. I almost would never reach for Dark Confidant in 2025 or six, but I do think in like some of like, and we're exploring these piles, and they need a little bit of a card advantage, and they have access to some interesting life gain sources from Cecil and now Obsessive Pursuit, but Pursuit is also card advantage. I don't know. Thinking about it. Fetching Arbor there is -1 mana, but +1 attacker. How is it that? How is it +1 attacker? Because we need to activate the Quirion Ranger, and we need to tap all of our creatures to make mana. So I don't think that it is that. Because you can't attack with the Arbor. Oh, I guess we could have bounced one of the other forests that was in play. That might be what you're saying. Hold on, can we combo here? So without a Nissa or a Lotus Cobra... Oh, wait, hold on. So we can go... No, we're not... Without a Nissa or a Lotus Cobra, we're not going to be able to go infinite this turn. Or Tyvar. Tyvar would do it too. I guess I probably should have Earthbent on the desert, though. I think I will still Earthbend on the desert with my copied Badgermole Cub. And he looks at Bronco or Bob. Yeah, maybe Bronco's just better than Dark Confidant. I could see that being the case. My opponent discards a Dothy Voidwalker in response to this. Yeah, maybe the horse is probably just better than Bob. Okay, they have an Archon of Cruelty. Does that do anything? It's got to do something, right? So Tyvar, Summoner's Pact, Green Sun Zenith, Cub, Cobra. Nissa, Cobra are all lethal top decks. Quirion Ranger not on the list. So I think I'm going to be copying the desert. I could also just copy Dryad Arbor. Dryad Arbor is like really powerful for like next turn. Yeah, I guess the pings kind of don't matter as much as having just a ton of creatures next turn that tap for a ton of mana. Oh, this is a little weird, all this. I guess I should have played the Quirion Ranger first. So this one is... Wait. They're both for this Nantuko. For some reason, I thought one would be from this Nantuko. So we're just gonna be making copies of the Arbor here. No, sorry. I guess maybe. Wait. Hold on. Maybe this is infinite. Because if I start Earthbending, no, this is infinite. We found a new infinite combo. Because we get to give haste to the Dryad Arbors with the Earthbent Badgermole. How do we keep finding a new infinite combos of this deck every time we play it? Maybe we already knew this one. Maybe we just never have executed it. Again, this one, like, it's a lot of clicks, obviously, but we have so many Cubs. Each time we tap for mana, it's so much mana. And we do have two non-summoning stick cubs to attack with, and then also the Quirion Ranger, which could untap something. No, they're dead. They're dead this turn. Although it's possible we get close to the permanent limit again. The Summoner's Pack's so good in this deck. Tap a Dryad Arbor for 13 mana. So how much mana do we need? So we're going to have 3 attackers. So we need each of these to be 10 power, so we need about 80 mana. No need to tap. Well, I'm just tapping for. You're right. I could wait till I have more cubs in play, but because I'm yielded to everything. I guess I'm not yielded to this because I'm yielded to everything. The only window I have to tap something is when I need to pay costs. So I think it's faster. Oh yeah, the cub is also another attacker. That's true. So I guess we don't need to. I'll just make a little bit more mana here. But you're right. We don't need to do any more. So turn off auto yield. Say no to this. Wait. All right. So it should be fine, but I should have said yes to making another cub. It's fine. I guess we could have kept going anyways. We don't need to. Okay, so let's untap this hardworking Dryad Arbor here. And then activate. How are you even starting to track this in paper? Well, in paper, you don't need to track it. You could just explain that this is infinite. And your opponent will, concede or do something. I've never seen this before where it puts the counters on them one at a time. I don't know if this is new. I really, really like this deck. Really, really like this deck, and my opponent agrees. All right, 2-1. I'll keep this on the play. Opponent revealed a Kihira, so don't necessarily love that. Do I have animations on? No, of course not. Yeah, I'll keep another Nissa. Do you do finger, wrist, forearm exercises in the gym? Not really. Maybe I should. Well played. So that version of the combo is Nantuko on Badgermole, Nantuko on Dryad Arbor plus Leyline/Cobra. So the Leyline is important just for like the mana sink for infinite power, but you have infinite power. Actually, you have infinite hasty. You should have infinite hasty attackers that way, anyways, right? They pitch a Terminus. So if I go Cub onto an untapped land here, I only have 4 mana. Honestly, I don't do this very often, but I think in this matchup where my opponent has a bunch of sweepers and they have Terminus against my Earthbend lands, I think I'm just going to Earthbend onto a Windswept Heath. Just get the extra mana. When we were first looking at Cub, I thought that like this dynamic, like Earthbending on a fetch land for value would be something you do a lot. Ended up not being the case, really. Turbidus against all my Earthbent lands, though, very scary. You know, I guess I never ended up playing Starfield Shepherd Green White Ritual because of how good Quantum Riddler was or is or whatever. 3, 4, 5, 6. But maybe we should have circled back. Wait, hold on. Can I cast the Craterhoof off the Quirion Ranger? Because it would be nice to have Nissa be like post sweeper follow up. So this is 2. And I play Quirion Ranger, untap. So I'm back up to 3, and then I replay the forest. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Yeah, like the Craterhoof is gonna be like if they have a counter spell, like it's not that different if they counter either of these, and I definitely want to be. It's like much better to have Nissa still in my hand for a post sweeper. Although Terminus, I couldn't play it off the Arbor, but I could do it off of a Verdict. Don't run into too many anymore, like or too many counter spells these days. Have you ever bestowed Nantuko on Oslo Pride? Yeah, and honestly, this should still be in here, but or maybe not. But that was a big part of like the green white birthing ritual deck back in the day, or back like a year ago. So no Terminus, thankfully. I think we might have lethal. All right. Yeah, we also that was a part of some of the like Severance Priest builds that we were working on. I did think Severance Priest was also pretty good in these kind of decks too. Don't know if it's good, well positioned now. So we're up a game against Miracles. I think I'm gonna bring in the Maze. I'm gonna go into May -1 Summoner's Pact, -1 Ranger, maybe -2 Summoner's Pact. Yeah, Pact can be kind of bad against them. Nantuko is like probably top 5 like brew potential cards in modern. It is so powerful and it's good with so many cards, but green is like it's Cub was a big deal, but green is missing enough stuff that it's not the most powerful. This does kind of only die to Solitude turn 1 against them. I don't really. It's not a good matchup to mulligan. I think we can try this despite it being a one lander. Where did I get my MTGO record overlay at? I think if you're looking to use one for yourself, you can type !overlay to set it up for like your own stream. But this was made by Dan Bopez. Sorry, I guess I don't know how to pronounce Dan's last name. I've only seen it written. But Dan does a lot of nice community support stuff for the Magic Online streamers. He's awesome, and he set these up for the streamers. Okay, well, let's attack for 1. So I'm not that interested in surveilling because of the Quirion Ranger, although the Quirion Rangers are a bit awkward without an extra land in this spot because of the Badgermole Cubs. Like you don't necessarily pick up the land you Earthbent onto. They bounce the Leyline instead of the Arbor. And then they Solitude Arbor. Yeah, if you take this link and put your username instead of my username there, Xfinity, you can use it. Okay, so let's surveil now. Great to find the land. So they only have 3 cards in their hand. I have so many cards in my hand here. Yeah, I thought about getting the other Arbor, but I think we needed to surveil into the second land there, I think, instead. I don't think it matters that much to like attack the Teferi for 1 this turn. Very good draw. So let's go 2 mana. Cub. Did you get to pick card on it or is it default? I honestly can't remember. So I guess we're gonna go for the Ashaya combo here because I don't want to let my opponent Terminus me like Brain Surge Terminus. I guess I bounced. I guess it didn't matter which Quirion Ranger we bounced. I don't know why I thought bouncing one would reset the other. So this is infinite mana, infinite landfall triggers. Not too bad on turn 4 through Solitude, Orm's Chant, and Teferi. Bouncing my Leyline. Now, sometimes in spots like this where my opponent has 3 cards in their hand, they have 3 cards in their hand and 3 open mana. I kind of like to just do the loop for a bit longer than I usually would because they might just realize they should do something, which is exactly what's happening here. Yeah, you only need one ranger, but you need a ranger that can still get activated. Okay, and then they found Orm's Chant, which is really punishes me for not having cast one of my spells first. Hard to play around, especially because they just should have done this earlier. If we get Terminus here, we can all have a nice laugh as we go to game 3. Okay, not getting Terminus. You know, this is our second Terminus opponent today. So they main phase a Brain Surge, so they need to have opt untapped land that's it can be a fetch one. Opt untapped land and Terminus as 3 of their 6 available cards here. Or I guess Dress Down. Or I guess Solitude also at Ashaya. They do play the land. They do play it untapped. Oh, Orm's Chant. Of course. All right, so now they've got 3 cards in their hand. All right, have a good laugh as we go to game 3. That sure could return to Ashaya if they have Solitude. Bummer. I guess we could have won that game if we had played around Orm's Chant off the telling time. A very obviously they should have just cast the telling time first, but we could have capitalized on that. Very hard to play against. Play my first challenge right now. Song Creation, nice. Song Creation's pretty good. I think we can keep this on the play in this matchup. Chuck Isaka with the 5 gifted sub. If you got a gifted sub, make sure to thank our friend Chuck here. Thank you so much. Happy New Year. Bantech being safe for another day. We'll see. You'll see how I'm feeling after this league. I would like to go a little bit longer, but I also have a lot of stuff to do tonight. So we'll just see. We'll see. How are you feeling about your 8 fires or red 8 fires deck? I like that deck, the mono red Roku 8 wildfire deck. I think it's good. I think it's one that you definitely I definitely would recommend picking up and then playing if it's the right metagame. And there is so much Tron right now. I think it probably is a pretty good metagame. A lot of Tron, not a lot of Titan. Okay, we draw kind of a brick. All the Lotus Cobras, none of the lands. I guess we have if we draw a single land, we have infinite Dryad Arbors. But we won't be able to kill, and we could get, board swept. Why did Titan fall off? I don't know. I think by most metrics it should be really well positioned at the moment. Guess we're baiting another counterspell on this. Like it's very good against Affinity. It's very good against Tron. It's very good against Prowess. It's good against Boros. Very good against Boros. It's like it's I think it's good against Domain Zoo. It's like I don't really think there's much in the metagame that it's not excellent against. I was bad against Storm. I didn't realize Storm was up to second place, so maybe that's on the downswing. This is also doesn't feel accurate. Like I have almost not played against Jeskai Blink at all for a while, so maybe this is a little bit behind. But it is bad against Neobrand. We've got a Wrath Disguise, 5 cards. Let's go to the next match, I think. You played against Jeskai this week. I remember cloning Riddler. Oh, you're right. Or was that blue white? Was it Jeskai or was it blue white? It might have been Jeskai. I remember we did it against Pi, who's playing blue white Riddler. Put into the mold of 5. Playing Devourer of Destiny. What about Magebane? I usually think Damping Sphere is better than Magebane because it's better in more matchups, and it's also I think Damping Sphere is usually harder to beat. Because if you have Wish in your hand, and you have a good Storm hand, you just can take enough damage from Magebane and then like Wish to kill the Magebane and then keep going off. Like it's just fine. So turn 2 Seer after a mold of 5. They've imprinted the Devourer, so we don't know their last card. So yeah, so like I think the Damping Sphere is better against Storm, and it's also like obviously much better against Tron and Titan. So I don't think there's usually much reason to play Magebane instead, unless you feel like Magebane somehow is like an important part of your prowess matchup, which you would need to do like a good bit of testing, I think, to determine that. Second Leyline's kind of interesting. If I packed for a Cub and I Cub onto Forest, I could technically play the Leyline, but then I'd have to bounce something, which I don't want to do if I'm going to cast the Pact. I guess I should save this Pact for Ashaya, right? Yeah, we should just go like... cast the second Leyline and then try to combo off with Ashaya here. I'd be way more scared of Sphere's prowess. Worst case, I'd just bolt out the lizard. I mean, if you bolt out the lizard, I think that's a win for. It's a good exchange for the lizard player, and like, I don't. Is Damping Sphere good against prowess? It's fine, but you like take the whole turn off. It's very weird. All right, so we need some top decks. I've like definitely boarded in Damping Sphere and felt like the fact that I took turn 2 off meant that and then also affecting my own draws a lot of times meant that it didn't feel like it was a particularly good play. All right, so definitely keeping that, and then let's just go ahead and Boseiju this and let them take their turn. I'm okay if they sack the Mind Stone. I want to do this now so that they can't put the Devourer back into their hand, of course. Seer number 3, hopefully. No, okay, command number 1. Damping Sphere is in fact good against prowess as decks that can be explosives through it. It's just hard to be explosive through your own sphere, for whatever that's worth. Okay, so they're Scry 2ing and they're killing my Ranger. I was really happy with Damping Sphere against prowess as Gorez. Okay, cool. I think that's a good example. Although it does make your like combo like it can be awkward for you. All right, so copy. Then we can make a copy, and then we get a chop blocker. They went 2 on the bottom with the K command, thankfully. Fortunately, they have the Dismember. I guess they just play so many Dismembers now. So, looks like we have enough to activate. think we might as well activate in combat since we're gonna have to do some chump block. We're gonna have to chump. I guess we could double block with both, and then we could just trade our board for their board. So we could lose all of this. Sure. Let me know if you're making this trade, just my board for your board here. I'm at 3 live. With this much Tron present today, is my next league gonna be my new red land destruction list? It does sound like a kind of fun one to play. I'm a little bit worried about the backup deck, yeah, because with how much Tron there is. Well, didn't play around this very well. Kind of gonna be hard to beat that one anyways. I have like their sideboard plan in this matchup though. We are 1-1 against Tron this league. I do think it's kind of a good metagame for Mono Red Roku. I think after this league, I'm down to take a look at it and like try to punish the Tron players a little bit because there's so much of it today. And then, I did end up feeling like what did I end up doing about the Flage problem? Was I main? I think I might have been main decking Lanterns. All right, we can try this. Yeah, it's our third Tron opponent this league. All right, no hoof this game. Oh, yeah, no hoof because we boarded out the. Oh, sorry, you couldn't Shifting Woodland. It's a Craterhoof anyways. Okay, so if I draw a land, I think. Oh, I guess I can Pact for Arbor. Interesting. So I think I can combo here. So I can go Cub onto Mortuary. Play Tyvar. What happened? Yeah, I thought the Wildfire deck was interesting, but honestly the mono red one ended up performing better. I guess we play the Quirion Ranger first for a little protection if they do have removal here. All right, so we're gonna Summoner's Pact for a Nantuko. Oh wait, hold on. We're not triggering the landfall for the Arbor. So if we Summoner's Pact for Arbor, then we don't get to Nantuko onto it, and we can't start the loop. But I do have Nissa. I think so. Nissa lets me. So if I if I go untap this forest, bounce the Mortuary, tap the forest for 5, I can play Nissa. I can play Nissa, Nantuko onto forest. Then I can make infinite forests here. So I think that's what we're gonna have to do. But they have the K command. And am I dead to my pack? So the forest comes back to play. So I think in order to not be dead, I packed for the Dryad Arbor. So my second pack trigger is gonna be on the stack. So I packed for Dryad Arbor, bestow onto Cub. Then I play the Nantuk, the Arbor, and then I make 3 mana, and I bestow here. So we're gonna be able to pay for our packs on our upkeeps. Not the cleanest turn, although I think through the K command we weren't gonna be able to combo no matter what. Yeah, the solution to being dead to the pact is to cast another pact. So they get their swamp. 6 cards in their hand here. I do think we're dead to most removal spells. They're probably thinking if I'm dead to a removal spell here. So they dismember. They dismember my Quirion Ranger. That was not a removal spell. That was not the right target. That was not the right target, opponent. I was dead if you targeted either the lands. Oh, I guess I was also dead to a cub being targeted. Or I guess with Quirion Ranger, that's not actually true. So, what do we want to do here? I guess we should probably cast the Nissa here. And then let's go ahead and see if we hit the Ashaya or if we hit a Quirion Ranger off the Nissa. And then we only have one land to Earthbend onto, so we don't need to make the decision on. We can make it on this trigger instead of this trigger. Not that I think I really know if it like how much it could matter. Okay, so yeah, we'll like I think we're always gonna make a copy of the cub here. And you know what? If you've got all his dust, I can't win anyways. So let's attack. Thanks, Magic Online. Thanks, Magic Online. Magic Online. So there's a Glaring Fleshraker, 4 cards in their hand. Second Fleshraker. Yeah, let's see if we find anything interesting off the Tyvar minus. Find another Nantuko. We could maybe have kept that to like try to find. It's like a 50-50 shot at Ashaya next turn. All right, although I think we just attack with everything, and we have lethal next turn, and they top deck all his dust or card, or they don't. And I think we would have had lethal this turn if we had an F6 through our combat there. So, or really Magic Online lag through our combat. So you can evaluate how you want if we end up losing to that. Yeah, they're dead if we didn't lag through combat there. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, this puts them to 1. Plays Ugin's Labyrinth. They have 8 mana. They imprint Sire. Now they have 9 mana. I guess we could die to K command. Yeah, we were dead if they made this permanent creature. It's kind of even. I don't know. You can evaluate how you want. Is that Rishkar Perma Renegade or some Nissa variant? This is Nissa Resurgent Animist, sorry, and Tyvar Jubilant Brawler. What? Are you gonna get Bridge? They have 8 mana available. So I guess they should get Extinguisher Battleship. If they have it. I don't know if people are still playing Battleship. I think Battleship's pretty good. They do get the Bridge. They have a card in their hand. Can they get their last card out of their hand? They have 7 mana, so they can cast basically any spell. I go to combat. I attack with my 1 power creatures, which I have 6. Oh, they have 6 blockers. Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. I did not realize they had 6 blockers. All right, embarrassing game. Sorry, chat. Why not Boseiju? Obviously we should have Boseiju. I just thought that they were dead first.